What if the cheat system that was supposed to make you overpowered had a rebellious personality of its own? And before you could even understand it, you were thrown into the hands of several beautiful but dangerously powerful masters. This is the start of a stunning and feisty master, and Chapter 1 begins with pure chaos. We're introduced to Xiaoqi, a guy who definitely doesn't seem like some legendary hero at first. He feels more like someone who's been dragged into a situation way beyond his level. But that changes the moment a mysterious system enters his life. Now, normally, in stories like this, a system is basically a golden ticket. Gives the protagonist missions, rewards, power boosts, and a clear path to getting stronger. But Xiaoqi's system doesn't feel like a loyal helper at all. Instead of calmly guiding him, the system comes across as unpredictable, difficult, and almost rebellious in the way it operates. It doesn't feel like a clean blessing. Feels like Xiaoqi has been paired with something powerful, but also incredibly troublesome. And that immediately makes the story more interesting. 'Cause Xiaoqi isn't just being handed free power. He's being forced into a relationship with a system that may help him rise, while also making his life far more complicated than it needs to be. So right away, Chapter 1 sets the tone. Yes, Xiaoqi has gained an advantage, but it's the kind of advantage that could easily turn into a problem. The chapter also makes it clear that this is a world where strength decides everything. If you're weak, you don't get respect, you get crushed. Power isn't just useful here. It's the difference between survival and becoming irrelevant. That's what makes Xiaoqi's situation so serious. He isn't just trying to understand a strange system. He's trying to survive in a world where falling behind could mean losing everything before he's even had a chance to begin. So from the very start, the stakes are already there. Then comes the part that gives this series its real identity. Xiaoqi's path becomes connected to a group of beautiful and incredibly powerful female masters, women who don't just look impressive but instantly give off the feeling that they're dangerous. At first, this sounds like the best possible outcome. If powerful masters are interested in you, that usually means training, protection, and a shortcut to strength. For someone in Xiaoqi's position, that should be a dream. But Chapter 1 doesn't let it feel that simple. These women don't come across like random mentors who appeared out of kindness. There's something very deliberate about the way they're introduced. They feel mysterious, important, almost like they already know Xiaoqi matters, even if he doesn't understand why yet. And that creates one of the biggest questions of the chapter. Why are people this powerful suddenly interested in him? What makes Xiaoqi work as a main character here is that he doesn't fully understand the situation either. He has a rebellious system, he's suddenly surrounded by masters far stronger than him, and he's trying to keep up with a world that clearly runs on power. So instead of acting like he already has everything figured out, he feels more like someone standing in the middle of a storm that's only just starting. That actually helps the chapter a lot. Because Xiaoqi isn't just chasing strength, he's trying to understand what kind of game he's been thrown into, and whether he's actually the one in control of his future or just being pulled along by forces much stronger than him. That uncertainty gives the chapter tension because it feels like something bigger is already moving around him. What Chapter 1 does well is mix several things together without making the setup feel too heavy. It has the classic ingredients of a cultivation fantasy, a main character at the start of his rise, a dangerous world where strength matters, and a system that could completely change his fate. But then it adds two things that make it stand out more. First, the system isn't just a tool, it has personality, and that makes the whole setup more entertaining. Second, the female masters aren't treated like simple side characters. Their presence adds mystery, tension, and the feeling that Xiaoqi is being pulled into something much bigger than a normal training arc. So instead of feeling like a standard power fantasy opening, Chapter 1 feels more chaotic and more curious about its own mysteries. And that's exactly why it works. By the end of the chapter, the real hook isn't just that Xia Qi has a system. The real hook is why all of this is happening to him in the first place. Why did he get this system? Why are these masters connected to him? And what exactly is so special about Xia Qi that all of these powerful people and strange events are suddenly revolving around his life? Chapter 1 doesn't answer those questions yet, but it doesn't need to. Its job is to make you curious enough to keep going, and it does that by showing us a protagonist who's standing at the center of something far bigger than he understands. This isn't just the beginning of a power-up story. It feels like the beginning of a much messier journey involving power, secrets, suspicious allies, and a system that may be just as much of a problem as it is a blessing. Overall, Chapter 1 does what an opening chapter should do. It introduces Xia Qi, establishes the rebellious system, brings in the powerful masters, and leaves just enough unanswered questions to make you want more. It doesn't try to explain everything at once. Instead, it focuses on creating intrigue, and in that sense, it does a solid job. The world is dangerous, the system is weird, the masters are suspicious, and Xia Qi is caught right in the middle of it all. And honestly, that's a strong enough setup to keep reading. And that was Chapter 1 of the start of a Stunning and Feisty Master. If you want the next chapter in the same Lorebound Recaps format, stay tuned for a next chapter.